back to Candy's Classic Game Shrine, everyone. Today is going to be the very first episode of the series called Return to the Third Dimension. This series is going to cover all homebrew games for the Virtual Boy. And with that said, let's get started with the very first Virtual Boy game created, BLOX. With this being the very first episode covering homebrew, I feel it's only fitting to share a brief history of the homebrew scene and the game BLOX from its creator and early pioneer, Christian Radke. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, Christian, I tried my best. In the very early days of the scene, there were Virtual Boy homebrew pioneers David Tucker and Alberto Covarrubias. These guys wrote the Virtual Boy homebrews in ASM, and only when Alberto made the Virtual EC compiler, known as VECC, things started to become big. It finally allowed others to create homebrews in C, which is much easier to write for the average programmer. At that time, I was one of the people who got interested in Virtual Boy development. I only had some basic programming knowledge at the time from Pascal lessons in school, so I went the learning by doing route and taught myself C while writing the first demos and blocks. I only remember that time vaguely, but I know I asked a lot of very stupid questions on the old VG chat forum, which was the place to go before Planet VB had its own proper forum. People like RunnerPack were always there to patiently answer all of them. Yes, the Virtual Boy scene has always been full of amazing people from the very beginning. So I struggled with writing code, and VECC struggled with compiling it. Eventually the codebase became too big to compile, and the game went on hiatus until the first version of GCC VB, a modification of the GNU C compiler, arrived. All in all, it took me about 8 or 9 months to finish version 1.0 of the game, and a little over a year for version 1.1. Version 1.0 released in June of 2003, and version 1.1 released in October of 2003. If you're familiar with games like Adventures of Lolo and Sokoban, you'll have no trouble playing BLOX. It's more or less a spiritual successor to Sokoban, but with a Lolo-like character. You play as Bob the Blob, who is competing to win various medals in the puzzle challenges taking place on his planet. The controls are simple and responsive. You use the start button to make most of your selections or pause. The B button goes and cancels a selection. A makes selections that the start button doesn't make, and the left D-pad moves Bob. The game starts up by giving you some custom splash screens and comically tells you to eat your instruction booklet. You'll find this on a few of the Planet Virtual Boy games. When the main screen finally pops up, you can choose between your multiple difficulties. Easy mode has 10 stages, medium has 20 stages, and hard has 30 stages, with a total of 60 unique stages. Along with the tons of included main stages, there's also bonus stages that you can unlock. The first bonus stage is unlocked by playing through easy difficulty in one shot. This means not leaving a level and not using passwords. The second bonus stage is unlocked by completing stage 7 of medium with less than 103 moves. As mentioned before, there is a password system to help you continue where you've left off. They're all short and numeric, which is refreshing compared to some password systems. I'm looking at you, Roger Rabbit. Along with helping you continue where you left off, there's also a password that allows you to play slightly different graphics. Instead of Bob being a blob, Bob is now a box, and the other graphics are much more rounded. While the game is of fantastic quality, it does have one flaw. It lacks music. Other than that, it's a great recreation of a fun and addicting puzzle game, but with a cuter main character. Christian did a great job with the animated backgrounds that took full advantage of the Virtual Boy's parallax scrolling capabilities. Considering this was his first game, it's very impressive that it's as detailed, smooth, and as fun as it is. If you're looking to add this game to your library, you can purchase a physical version from the Virtual Boy community's go-to cart maker and homebrew pioneer, David Tucker, aka Uncle Tusk, through his website. I'll link the store in the description below for you all. His stock is usually gone quickly, so I recommend frequently checking back. His prices usually range for $95 for a complete in-box copy of any of his prototype or homebrew games. So please don't go to eBay and pay more for these titles. If you want to just play the game and don't care about a physical cart, you can download the full ROM at planetvb.com and load it onto an emulator or a Flash Boy Plus flash cart. So that was my review of BLOX for the Virtual Boy. Let me know what you guys thought of the game and the video in the comments below, and I'll see you next time when we return to the third dimension. I'd like to give a special shout out to my Patreon supporters, Barclay Crazy, Chipper Angela's Negrete, Joyful Sworn, Michael Carter, The SideQuest Gamer, and Artifact Unknown. Thank you guys so much for all your support.